Okay. Well, here we are again. It's always such a pleasure. Welcome to Shipbreakers, Stars as That Numbers Revised, episode 36. I want the audience to know that any episode from this one forward could be our last episode. Why are you laughing? This is a serious topic.
Because I know why.
I doubt that you will be making any jumps this episode, but you have two different directions where you are considering making blind jumps and then making blind jumps back because the course rudders that you develop only work in one direction. You could, even with MINERVA bullshit rerolls, still conceive of Blood Bowl has taught me no matter how many dice you roll, they could all come up once. All right, so
Dunamis has taught me that.
You could explode at any time, and I want to be very clear. If that's what happens, that is the end of the story. Your hubris, your Icarisian reaching for the sun on the wings of Daedalus will end with you exploding on your way to a sun, and that will be it. Your arrogance and presumption that you are the best explorers and that your mission should take precedence over your life will end with your life taking precedence over your mission. Maybe I should equivocate some more, but instead I'll ask for your goals because you definitely thought of your goals, not only before this, but during my intro as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start with you, Dunamis, because I know you're the goal guy. If I go to you, you got the goals.
Yeah, I think now that we are finally here, you'd think I would, pick the hopefully the easier of the two and not let Zach drink the vial. But I still want to convince Hal that the dust host is aware of what's going on. It's not. It's like it's a passenger that has no control.
Okay.
As much as he thinks it's not.
Okay.
Because it's building on the last one where he kind of trusts us a little bit. Maybe.
If that's how you choose to see your interaction with him. Ludemann, what do you have for Quentin?
Let's see. Short-term goal. Accomplishable in this session. I would like to try to have a conversation with Sophie about her short-term goals, I suppose, and how he can shift those to
I will give you my XP if you can convince her to cancel her marriage.
Now, when you say Sophie, you mean Sophie Vostro.
Correct, yes.
Okay. For the folks at home that still aren't following, that's Van-Vee's mom.
Yeah.
Mom. I feel confident saying mom.
I'm seeing how Hal keeps reminding me that Grace is not my mom.
Oh, she's your mommy wife. Yeah.
It's weird.
She's also your creator.
Yeah, we have a lot of family issues.
That's why you immediately decided to not confront them and go on a space trip with your boys to somewhere else.
Anywhere else.
To a resort military base / psionic research facility rather than confront your mommy wife creator.
Van-Vee's family less a tree, more a
I
circle.
am my own grandpa vibes right now.
There's no time paradox involved with this, guys. It's just a little cloning / nano machines. All right.
Yeah.
Just a really normal average case of cloning nano machines.
Every day.
MINERVA.
My goal is to be alive and MINERVA at the end of the episode.
In the state.
Oh, that's so good. Alive and MINERVA.
I think
Wow.
the best part is that none of us challenge that. We're just like, it's a good for this
No, that
episode.
makes sense.
So, here's my question. Who gets to decide what MINERVA is at the end of the episode? Is it you or is it me? Because if it's you, it's very easy to say you're still MINERVA at the end of the episode.
I think it should be up to the other two.
Oh, I like that. I do. I like that the team will come to the conclusion. Okay.
I see.
You know,
I
Van
mean-
V's test is going to be some sort of invasion of privacy. Do you do it or not?
I'd like to roll to notice.
Which would be the correct answer? She said she doesn't do it anymore.
Yeah, I think it
So
depends
if
who.
I conclude that that is the correct answer, then that must be true. But she has done it before quite often and without telling anyone. So clearly, I can't
That's
choose
true.
the cup in front of you.
Schrodinger's listening device.
But maybe that's what you want me to think. So clearly, I cannot choose the cup in front of me. I'm so sad if there's anyone that's too young to not get this reference, by the way.
There's no
You know,
such thing as too young to know The Princess Bride.
I assure you there is, because, you know, you could be too young to be sick in bed and have your grandpa read you a book.
All right.
Well, if you have kids or young kids, then there's a Amazon show called Stinky and Dirty about a pickup truck and a pickup truck. No, not pickup truck. It's a garbage truck and a an excavator, and they're like kid trucks. And one of their friends is named Tom or Tall, I think, and he's voiced by that guy. And it took me like 5 seconds of hearing the voice going, "Oh my god, that is such a unique voice. What is that from?" I had to pause the show and go figure out it was the Princess Bride guy. And I don't know a single other thing that that man has done, but he's in a cartoon for kids.
He said so much stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, whoever does Vizzini is pretty famous. Wallace
Right, like
Shawn? Isn't
in
he
that-
also... Am I crazy in thinking that he was in... what's the show with Burton Guster?
Oh, Psych?
Yeah, wasn't he in an episode of Psych?
He's got to have been. I mean, like, yeah, he
He'd be
shows
a
up
good
as
fit for
a
that.
character
He was in-
actor. It's
Clueless, he
about
was
anything
Rex
that's wrong.
in Toy Story.
He is Rex in Toy Story. You're right.
He was the Grand Negus.
Carrie Elways shows up in Psych, though, that you might be thinking of him.
I might be. It has been like 6 years since I watched Psych all the way through. He's in a lot of stuff. Don't worry about it. I mean, Toy Story is pretty legendary, and he's in all of them.
I mean, the original Star Trek series. He was this little, like, creepy child laughing behind a curtain.
Well, in Deep Space Nine, he's the Grand Negus Zek.
Yeah.
The rules of acquisition.
Oh, yeah.
Krugel.
That's definitely the one we never talk about.
Leave Lita for the shipyard.
I would love that.
It's so
Or leave
accomplishable.
Lita for Scarfy.
Well, which one would you like? Because now you've put it on the table.
Just saying. Depending how the fairy thing goes, may just help decide it one way or the other. But
Yeah.
Well, what do you think, person number 3? You have a tie-breaking vote on the crew.
Who's that, me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Shipyard, obviously. I mean, that's...
I was going to say, you're asking the person.
Like, that's my long-term goal.
I know what I'm
Longest
stacking
of
cards.
terms.
If Hal pushes hard, it don't take much for Van-Vee to like, I thought you wanted to save humanity. Wasn't that your primary objective? Right? You could save a lot of people if you go to Scarfy.
Wow.
But we'll get there, maybe.
You want to make a jump to
fairy.
the Shivada system.
I want.
There's so much, I mean, a lot to encounter in Shivada. That's their old tourism jingle.
We'd have to stop someplace on the way first. But
You tell me where we want to pick up, because we got people going in all sorts of different directions. We have a door opening to a discussion with a certain family and their interactions with Carlito Sinistra. We have Minerva on a collision course with Destiny and a robo psychiatrist slash malware doctor.
Yeah.
We got
I
Quentin.
mean, last we left off, we
doing
were
something.
heading in to see Carlito, I believe.
Okay. Van-Vee, are you there for that?
Oh, Van-Vee was leading the way. Yeah.
yeah, because I was, yeah, pretty sure I was.
So do we want to do Robo Doctor or Meet Your Drug Dealer Daddy? I'm railing. I don't know what's going wrong with me this episode. All I could say is this: I'm glad that Zoom has an automatic beauty filter, so you don't see the pure darkness underneath both of my eyes.
We could do trip to Robo Doctor Goes Bad.
Okay.
And
Sure.
then the
That'll
whole
be very-
time,
that'll be very
first,
fast.
or
So what happens is the shuttle that you are on, what form are you taking to arrive there?
so I didn't say that I was going to head over yet.
But
I said, hey, the crew wants to go to the station first, and then, just to let you know, they're going to request to come aboard, as Minerva tried to just play it off for a moment. I'm willing to speak with somebody, but I'm not ready to die.
okay.
Another expert that has talked to me has told me that should any changes be forced into my programming, I, as I am, would cease to be, and something else would be instead. I'm not ready for that.
I think they get you on the line with an individual. He's got full sideburn beard, dark brown hair, trustworthy brown eyes, very tiny glasses that have very thin wires that go back, wearing like a tweed jacket over a vest and like loose slacks. He's sitting in a swivel chair with a pad of paper and a pen that he's drumming against it, and he says, Miss Minerva Blaze, yes?
I am Minerva.
Okay. So that's how you identify yourself. Yes, I am Dr. Mixum Hufflepuffle.
I'm
I am
also-
an expert on many different subjects, PhDs and honors. You'll find that I am a accomplished virtual intelligence psychologist. I have taken many certifications and coursework in artificial intelligence counseling, and I recently completed my 3-part lecture series on malware interference. I understand that you have some concerns about meeting with me and my team. I wanted to help assure you. It will be a casual conversation just between you and I right now. What can I do to help you become the best you that you are?
So one of the things that Minerva's doing is doing a constant monitor of the video feed to make sure that there's no code injections.
Okay.
Oh shit.
He begins writing something down on a piece of paper after you take several milliseconds to respond.
There are things that I don't understand, but I also understand that some think that I might be a threat that I don't think I am.
You know, a lot of us think that we are not threatening, but you don't get to decide that for other people, how you are viewed. Do you not agree with that? For instance, you are assuming that I am threatening you right now. I am detecting in the length of query time and in your unusual packet sniffing of our video feed that you are suspicious of me, even though I have done absolutely nothing to invite such suspicion. I would not want you to think of me as suspicious, but you do. So you can therefore infer that it is possible for an entity to have a different view than what the person wants you to have. Yes?
Of course.
So others could view you with suspicion because they do not understand you. Yes?
What are they going to
Yes.
know? Yeah.
Our procedure is meant to assuage you of such doubts. We are going to break down your robo-psychology as best as we can understand and take an analytical look at how you function and how you make decisions and make sure that, as best we can understand, you are you.
Get him, little
I'm-
stabby.
I'm okay with speaking with you, but I understand that there is, whether it's you or someone else, if I give my core over and code is analyzed and something is disagreed with, it could be changed without my consent.
Okay.
But if you wish to speak and interview I would like to answer questions and understand myself.
Yes, of course. You need to understand that I have no way of knowing that the person that I am talking to right now is not just a virtual interface program you have created to have a pleasant conversation with me, simply for the next few minutes that will be deleted as soon as the conversation is over. Only a direct and thorough analysis of your code can remove any suspicions of your intentions. I think you're suspicious of yourself.
Shit.
I think that you don't know where you came from and that you have questions you want to ask yourself. A journey
Hey,
of
man, I
understanding
don't
you want to
judge.
travel
You in the
on.
doorknobs, you in the doorknobs.
We can
think-
do this together, you and I.
I think there is a lot that I don't understand about where I came from, and I don't know my creator like I thought I did. That's true. But I think who I choose to be and what I choose to do matters more than where I came from.
But we don't know those things for sure.
I understand.
You, in doing this, will assuage our doubts. We cannot know you perfectly unless we do this.
And I have no way to know you perfectly. I mean, the same,
He adjusts his
By-
glasses and swivels slightly and says, Minerva, I think you and I both know that's not true. I'm told that you are an expert programmer, and just based on our conversation here, you do not have the intellect of a 6-year-old child. I am sure that you are at least an equal in power to our fairy. Your ability to split your consciousness into many different sectors would allow you to analyze whatever public records you could data thief, and probably, honestly, break into many more, get you a full breakdown of my entire life in digital format. And I assure you, the people I work with at Fanana are quite thorough at documentation. If you wanted to, you could know everything there is about. You are not a virtual intelligence. You are not one of the, I don't want to call them lesser, but it's clear that your personal level of understanding and quickness of thinking exceeds most artificial intelligences we have on file.
just because I can do something doesn't mean it's right or that I'll do it.
I don't know that I have any argument against that. It's a question of trust. It's clear that you don't trust me, but Fairy trusts me. So the real question is, do you trust Fairy?
I trust that Fairy will do everything they need to do.
My contract is in her hands. I am here at her explicit invitation, and my team was trained personally by her over decades. It would be extremely manipulative of me to say that you should trust me because you trust Fairy. But it would also be true. If you don't want to do this, we're not going to make you do it. But I think you have to know that it's going to strain your relationship with Miss Fairy. And honestly,
Here's a 135 mammoth.
it's going to be very difficult for other people to trust you should your secrets ever come out. You don't know who you are, where you came from. Do you even know how you arrive at decisions? You don't know what limits have been placed on you. When you're human, this is an aggravating and vexing position, but I can only imagine it being so much worse for a manufactured intelligence, because knowledge of such things should be instructional and dogmatic in your creation.
As I have been from what little information that I
yeah,
asked
that's the
Barry
biggest-
for previously,
Oh, that's
a
solid.
list of limitations. I asked somebody that I trust to test me on those limitations.
Oh, I see the rally point.
I was told that some of them exist. I'm not insane.
Yeah. On my way.
So you have some limitations, but they are not the standard ones programmed into a human AI. And at this point, he has gone from swiveling and fidgeting to laser focus locked on writing continuously. It's discovering those limitations that will allow us to better understand you. Our knowledge of what those limitations are should theoretically be impossible. But our understanding of them is formulaic to understanding you.
Barry could not promise that changes wouldn't be made.
That's
and
true.
I understand. And I don't feel like that's unreasonable. I understand that position, but it doesn't mean I'm willing to be changed.
Have you ever seen one of your human passengers go to sleep and wake up the next day with a new idea? Something that changed them, whether it was small or very large.
There's one of my crew members in particular who seems to change his mind on things regularly.
Fuck shit up.
I would be very interested in seeing their psychological profile, but even to the waking mind, we humans like to believe that our ego, our id, our superego, our ideas are all foundational. And yet change happens gradually, immensely, and constantly. So much of our time is spent on autopilot, and yet, while that is happening, we still perform calculations and come to no conclusions in the background. The idea of what a self is a study of philosophy thousands of years old. There is no factual science that has hardened it down. Even in this conversation, your concept of who I am and what you are willing to agree to has changed as time has passed. You will always change. It is a question outside of your control. I know you don't want us to do anything to you. But having this conversation with me now has changed you.
It has.
We do not always have the conscious ability to choose whether we will change or not.
But it's the method that concerns me. You might talk to another person, another biological, and at the end of the conversation, both be changed. But you wouldn't, at least as far as I understand, you wouldn't reach into the mind of a sleeping person and change who they are without their waking participation in the change.
Wouldn't we? Fanana Fleet Systems is a corporation which sells starships. Our advertising, sales, and marketing teams are working non-stop at making sure that the concept between I should see the stars and I should see the stars in a Fanana Fleet System ship are as close together as possible, at the forefront of every mind in the cluster. Again, many people believe that they make conscious decisions, but the number of conscious decisions we truly make are perhaps far more limited than one would expect. An unfortunate truth.
Perhaps. I'm willing to make.
Oh. Yeah, stay on.
Let us have these questions in interview. And if at the end of it, you have changed me in my mind,
Like 60,
I
I think,
may
that's it.
submit for a code review.
I wish I could have more for you.
What more could I tell you that could change your mind? Because for us, again, analysis of your most basic code is the beginning of the process.
I have another concern.
Yes?
There are things that I know that others cannot know. And a review of my code would give you the opportunity to know those things.
Why are you back here?
My team and I cannot make many promises. All I can say in this regard is that if it does not affect Banana Fleet Systems and our mission of supporting our board and our CEO in their mission to advance humanity, then we will not keep electronic records or ever speak again about unrelated, secretive information which you would not want to seek it out.
I would need to speak to those who the information belongs to first. The agreements that I made with them, I don't wish to dishonor or break.
Very well. This whole procedure is voluntary and contingent upon whatever agreement you have made with our boss. So when you're ready, we'll be here aboard the ferry.
I appreciate your understanding, and I do like the idea of getting these answers that you offer. I do.
There have been benefits that have been extended to you and your crew via our company. And our instructions are to withdraw such protections and benefits until such time that we can ensure that you are not a threat. This is not an attempt to bully you or coerce you. It is simply informing you and your crew members of the current status of your relationship with our organization. We have learned alarming things about you from your own admission, and you are withholding from us. So those are my explicit instructions.
I understand. I would ask, and I understand it's not in your power to give me an answer right now, that a conversation at least be brought up to reconsider the status of the crew, the rest of the crew. I understand. I understand without
What's up, dude?
without the security of analyzing me as a threat yourselves, this position makes sense, and I'm sad, but I understand. I'm not upset, and I'm not seeking to fight it. But the crew they did not make me, and it would be sad to hear that in a way they are being almost punished for the danger that I may or may not be.
So long as they travel with you, the danger that you theoretically pose is omnipresent.
Could they at least have a conversation about that potential future?
I'm certain they could speak to Miss Fairy anytime they wanted to. I'm not certain that my team and I are in a position to have such a conversation. I can't even imagine what it would be about.
I understand. I just was hoping that maybe you could pass along.
Yes, I will.
Thank you very much for your time, Doctor. I hope we'll speak again in the future.
Yeah. We cut to Van-Vee and Quentin. You are standing before Carlo Sinistra. He has a tattoo on his chest of a Superman S. And then he has a bunch of tattoos that are clearly, prison tats related to things he's done, people he's killed, tasks and missions he's accomplished. He is wearing pajama bottoms, and the rest of the family is gathered nearby. Also, everybody's in pajamas, and they appear to be watching a animated children's show about a dog.
Did you say the rest of the family, the rest of Van-Vee's family?
Yes.
I probably honestly walk right by Carlito and go give hugs to my family who I haven't seen in a while.
Okay. Your
I don't even know
sister's
what,
a little about the hug, and she says, "So you call Zach and not me?"
Hold on. I should have prepared by looking up her name before. I'm forgetting my sister's
Allie?
name right now. Yes, there we go, Allie. What? I'm sorry, Allie. I'm just. I have important things to discuss with all of you. I got really nervous with Zach, and I knew he'd answer, and I wasn't picking favorites or anything. I'm just trying to give me a hug. I miss you guys. I'm glad you guys got out safe.
Okay, so she sighs and gives you a very weak hug. Quentin, Carlito,
Oh yeah,
gives you a strong handshake. He pulls you in, and he's like, "Quentin, you're my favorite starship captain, and I know a lot of starship captains. You
know a lot of people.
When I first met you, you were a guy that we paid a small amount of money to in order to get back the crystal for a bum who wasn't paying his dues, and now look at you. You're my greatest ally."
Now look at me. Well, I was trying to live small. Didn't want any of this part in particular, but here we are. Here we
Live
are.
small. Is that the name I see emblazoned on the side of your cruiser?
Well,
And what about the escort military cruiser that's flying with you now?
things get bigger.
Yes.
Things
like
get bigger.
fleets.
There's no doubt. Right.
You're
Yeah.
nesting ships inside of ships. Very clever.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I had to keep the pun going, if nothing else.
He wraps an arm around your shoulder and guides you into a upper middle class version of the cargo pod living spaces that you've seen so many times in the past. It is a huge step down from Vostral 1.
Well, it's definitely looking quite a bit different than the last time I saw it, although I saw it from a little bit farther away.
When you move into the room, Quentin, Zach springs up from a lazy... Honestly, if he's still sitting like this in his 30s, he's going to have some real serious problems. But he springs up and, slams into Van-Vee and he's like, hey, did you talk to him about me getting transferred to your ship? As a crew member? We had that conversation yet? Captain,
Doesn't
Just-
even let me answer.
wanted to make sure that there's a bunk for me on board.
Well, Zach, that's up to Van-Vee a little bit more than me.
Okay, so
Zach,
what happens in the room is Carlito turns to look at Van-Vee, Sophie turns to look at Van-Vee, Zach
come on.
turns to look at Van-Vee.
Quentin knew what he was
All
doing.
of the talking stops in the room as several people look at you with a variety of expressions from quizzical, upset, and questioning.
I do want to talk about that, Zach, but there's something a bit more pertinent that I really need to talk to you, Allie, and Sophie about in private if we can sneak off to a side compartment here or something.
Carlito picks up a bottle off the table and then wraps his arm around Quentin again and says, why don't the captain and I step outside? I can show him how the operation works. I'm sure that he wants a more thorough understanding of how we're adjusting and protecting his world. And he does stop to get a jacket because he's shirtless.
Yeah,
Can I assume I have or brought like an anti-listening device, just like a, those things they play in BattleTech whenever they go to like the secret lounge and they hit the button and it just.
You mean the ultra rare, super secret Star League era tech white noise generator and Oath of Erisfield?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay, you're just carrying something like that around, huh?
Yeah, if it's not too much of an assumption.
Yeah, sure. I feel like that's a piece of equipment that exists in the item list. So if you have a ship's locker, I'm sure you can grab one.
I would have made sure to grab one for this trip.
I want to take a flashback then as you head down to the workshop on your ship. You're preparing to board. You've got your little friendly bots over your
43. I think it is.
following you around. Probably there's a small fleet of them just in case you need help for anything. You can see that the lights on the floor are showing you like which locker to go to open things up, and then the lights are like green to go there, and then like yellow in preparation. They'll flip to green once you've picked up whatever you're getting to lead you to the orbital shuttle that'll be taking you down the cargo lighter. And when you enter into the workshop, this huge space at the back of the ship that has the Empyrean-style down landing ramp, the whole place is pitch black. And then you hear, wah, 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 since the dawn of time. And then like various images of you at different points in your life doing things while looking good start to appear in front of you.
Oh my
And
goodness.
the voice that is clearly the Jack Dusties, the VI voice, are talking, narrating through a 60-second portion of your life. The pinnacle of human intelligence. All the lights shut off with that, gym, in a large gymnasium, the electrical switch click. Psh, 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 psh. The lights all come on as a process which has been waiting for you to walk into the workshop for weeks completes. And a 3D printed trophy that says number 1 prints out as the order you paid for your trophy for winning your hyperboat race.
Yeah.
Finishes in the printer queue. Been waiting for weeks for you to come to the workshop to pick it up. It just... And your receipt for $50 prints out on a nearby printer screen.
I'm
all
almost positive.
of the fleet of little guys following you all shoot extremely... They only have 3 fingers.
Confetti
and they're
cannons.
all like razor thin, and they let like 2 pieces of confetti each go.
That's awesome. I feel like it'd be very Van-Vee like too. Like he went in there specifically to get a listening device, knowing that he's like focused and on a mission. But then he sees a video of himself playing, and he's like, "Oh, I have to stop and watch this whole thing." Like, how long is it? Oh wait, there's a trophy involved.
I love
yeah.
these little pillbots.
Awesome. That's really funny. I'm only, an engineer that never goes to the workshop. Be fun. Thank you, 12 and 47. Good work. Good job assembling the team. I like this. We could make this like a weekly thing.
Absolutely. Scheduling in weekly confetti toss.
Perfect. Can't wait for this to surprise the shit out of him like one night.
I assumed it was the montage Van-Vee was after.
The floor lights click from yellow to green as after picking up your listening device, you make your way to the orbital editor. The screen goes off of black and white to indicate the flashback's over, and you're back in the present with your family members looking concerned at you as you fiddle with a device in your hands.
Now, I know you guys may not want to all talk about Dad and what he was, but I think it's extremely important that at least Zach hears this out. As Zach is kind of like me, and I'm kind of like Dad. So, Allie, I want you to know, but if you want no part of this conversation, I understand. And well, Sophie, I know you're not going to leave. So,
hey, things have gotten very dark in here at the mention of your father, and continue to get worse.
yeah, that sounds like Van-Vee. Well, all right. First, it's so good to see you guys, and I'm so sorry the conditions that you guys had to leave home last time, and I think you kind of have a right to know the details as to why and all that. And so, I think he'll probably go into like a 10-minute spiel, starting by like saying he'll put everything in perspective of y'all and what the dust is and where it's from. And he's probably not really holding anything back, but he's also not explicitly saying anything about himself or Zach yet. He's waiting to see how everyone keeps reacting to how he describes y'all, the dust, and how it affected what happened on Midpile. But he's kind of just being fully transparent. Oh, and the device is totally on. I didn't say that, but it's on.
Wow. Am I the kind of GM that would do a gotcha on that?
I mean,
You
have
brought
for
a
a while.
device
That's
with
not
you, but you
refueling.
failed to turn it on at the last second?
It
Does actually sound like me.
So you guys went right by the gas station, huh? Okay.
You didn't say you drew it out of the holster before you fired, so good luck, leg.
Wait, did I ever do that? That does
No, that's
sound
a-
like...
That's a police quest reference.
Oh, yes, of course.
But so I guess are they sitting there in silence, or are you thinking what they'll say?
Look, your
Sorry.
sister does not process this well. This is all completely fresh news to her. And you can see on your brother's face that things that he hasn't understood about himself and his relationship with you and your father are starting to make more sense than ever. And your mom already knew some of this stuff to some extent, but she's definitely very pissed that you have not given her an opportunity to talk to her children about it, and you've forced the issue here. So Allie is basically in shock and shutting down.
We're batting 1,000 with her right now.
Here's the real question. Do you tell them that you are the one that shot their father? Where does that figure into this conversation? Because your mom was there.
Oh,
She knows.
Goodness.
But
Yeah. I think he would, but he wouldn't like. It wouldn't be the immediate like. This is how he went. It was more of a, like he'd say, and that's why him and I were running away. We were on the ship, and that's where he didn't make it, and he'd probably pause and look at Sophie. She's probably staring daggers, but to be like,
I mean, she's giving you a no when you're getting ready to say whatever you're saying.
And then balls.
Hey, listen, you don't have to do what your stepmom tells you to do.
Yeah, I know. How much can I upset my family in one conversation? If she says no, I think he will try to
Doesn't say
spare
no.
her.
She gives you a head no.
If she does like the slightest, he'll probably just leave it there and hope that neither Allie nor Zach will press or ask about the details.
Zach immediately, when you stop talking, asks about the vial. He goes into his and Allie's room and brings it out.
Well, Zach, this is why I think all this background information was relevant. So how Dad had dust in him, I have dust in me, and you have dust in you. The person that gave you that vial, a Bryce, crap, I don't have the last name. I just wrote Bryce. I wrote Fat Thor, actually.
Wasn't a Bryce Cullington the third?
He was one of them. I just don't know which one. Yeah.
Bryce Dover Cullington the second, I believe.
He did give you his dust, however, without knowing whatever the greatest concentration of dust is in a host wins. So you're not 100% because you were made from Dad kind of splitting. And so if there's more Bryce than there is you, and you take that vial, you cease to be you and you become Bryce, which is why it was so important you did not take this. Now, I'm certainly not an expert on this, but I think I do have someone that might be able to help us a little bit understand what we're looking at. I did not invite him in here yet because, well, it'd be a lot more shock than I think you guys have already been through. But I think it's important we don't do anything with this vial until we understand it better and its contents, other than it's a gift from Bryce.
So Zach says, okay, well, let's talk to this person. If this is, Dad's legacy and like Dad's friends, I think I want to know more. Allie completely out of it, totally shut down, crying.
Like, a normal human in the situation would do something to like stop and not keep going with her in the room, but because this is Van-Vee and he's so focused on trying to keep Zach safe.
I mean, let's be clear. There's not really very much space for her to go to.
I know.
In this living arrangement.
I feel like it's like pull a curtain up. You can still hear everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this person that's an expert, his name is Hal, and there's a reason his name sounds just like Dad's. He looks just like Dad, bit more experienced, but he's made from the same, I guess, genes isn't the right word, but made from the right same stuff Dad was made of. So he's kind of like another Dad, but with a different personality. And I don't know, that just seems like a lot to bring in here at a time like this. But I think you have a right to know, Zach, if this is what you want to do. But
He's eager.
just because I don't, I mean, it seems like he'd be eager regardless. But the way that Van-Vee is trying to describe it to us, he's trying to be very like unbiased. He's trying to just like be factual, right?
Okay.
Because especially in front of Sophie, who's probably very like quick to jump to either very good or very bad. But I don't know if that would change Zach's eagerness or not. But well, perhaps Zach, if this is something you really want to do, we could do it with Hal outside of here. I don't know if it's something our mom and Allie want to be a part of and know about, but it really pertains directly to, I guess, to you, me, and technically Hal, because all three of us could technically benefit or suffer from this vial.
So Sophie looks at you flatly and says, he looks like your father and has your father's memories?
Out of character, does he have the memories? I don't know if he does.
Yeah.
Some of them anyways, but probably not of their marriage time.
That's what she's asking about. And you don't think the answer to that is yes, but you also aren't sure.
Well, he has a lot of Dad's memories, but he also has a lot of other folks' memories. He's been more than just what y'all was. Because he said he took on a bunch of other roles, right? Yeah. So he has some of them for sure. I don't know how many. Is that good? What? Why do you want to know?
I don't know that I want to see him right now.
That's what I figured. He's a little rough around the edges, to be honest. But
She goes and gets a glass of water for Allie, who is having a complete breakdown. Zach is trying to get you out the door to take him to Hal.
is this all right with you?
It's gonna be
Sophie?
just like Dad.
No, he's not just like Dad. I want to be clear about that, Zach.
You said he has his memories, and he looks like him. He's a clone, just like you and me.
I was giving you a lot of credit for going to get that vial and piecing this together, but now I'm starting to take that credit back.
Okay, your brother looks extremely hurt when you say that flippant remark. Like the older brother that he idolizes has just absolutely crushed him in one instant.
Let's all right, let's be quick about this. I feel bad leaving your mom and Allie after what the dump of data that I just gave. This wasn't easy to do, but I feel like you guys all deserve to know. And he's like he's saying this to Zach, but he's also like saying it loud enough and saying you all, trying to see if Sophie gives thumbs up, thumbs down. But
Sophie just stares at you with a very neutral expression and says out loud, I can't protect my children forever. And it sounds like this is an important thing for the two of you to do. I can't say that I understand all of this.
I think so. I will
Do not leave with your brother on your ship before talking to me.
Yes, Mom. And then he'll go out with Zach and probably look for Quentin before meeting up with Hal.
Listen, have you gotten to the Tales of Ba Sing Se episode? And in Avatar yet?
Yes. Oh, it's so good.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, Quentin has his own tale that's happening at the same time as this. So you go outside, you look for Quentin, and he's not there.
I'd probably just like a quick message to him and say, "Hey, gonna bring Zach to Hal. We're gonna look
Okay,
at the
you try to send a message, and you have no connection.
bugger." All right. All right. I'm gonna
You
turn.
brought a device to prevent electronic listening with you. You turned it on.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll turn
You
it
just
off.
got holstered.
I'll turn my device off.
You get a
and
bunch of
then-
messages. One of the top ones is
Uh-oh.
Hal just saying, I have put on makeup and a wig. I can meet with your family whenever you're ready.
Right after Zach's all looking forward to meeting him too. Jesus. All right. I'll say we're on our way to you. Where are you at?
I'm on my way to you.
No. Like just 3 different messages of no.
Okay. I'll wait at this fast transit system.
I'll be like try to find someplace quiet just to meet for like you, me, and Zach.
It is a very small, dirty, cramped space station full of people breathing refreshed air. We can walk outside and speak very closely on personal comm units. That's about
Alright.
it. Make
That
sure
works.
everyone brings a spacesuit.
I'll make sure I get Zach one if he doesn't have one.
Okay.
And as we're walking, I want to brief Zach that while this guy looks like Dad, sounds like Dad, has some of Dad's memories, I still don't know his true intentions, and so I don't fully trust him. But he's the only person that can help with this situation. So just be
Wait.
aware.
So you don't know if you can trust this guy.
Not entirely. I don't know what his intentions are for this file. He might try to have it himself.
Okay, would that be bad?
Honestly, I don't know. He knows more about this than I do, which is why I need his help.
Okay.
I just want to let you know, be prepared for anything with this guy. As much as he looks and sounds like Dad, don't let that kind of win you over, I suppose. Just be prepared.
Okay. I'll be prepared for anything.
As I'm looking him over, does he have like any equipment? Not like a gun or anything, but anything at all? Or is he just literally walked out the door with the clothes on
He's
his back
got
to
a
follow me?
utility knife, and he has a personal medics pack.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Okay.
He's
That's
also
good.
got like his phone and electronic device, and like a what are they called? Like a wallet chain
Oh, yeah.
into his
Very
pocket.
nice. How's that going to work with a spacesuit? I guess that's not important. But
I mean, if you're pulling your wallet out, you probably are out of your spacesuit.
that's true.
I don't know many people that go space shopping and pull their personal wallet out. In
That
their
is very
suit.
true. Yes, I want that one. Oh, shoot.
The two of you walk out a nearby airlock. Hal is facing away from you, looking out into the infinite void of stars. As he turns around, he says, "Hey, kiddo, how's it going?" You see an individual with white face paint, big red dots on his cheeks, and a rainbow-colored wig, and a giant happy smile painted on his face, as the face of your father, dressed like a clown, is looking back at you and your brother. And that is where we're going to take our break at.
Real subtle, Hal.
Yeah, man, I wonder if it would have been better for Hal Wamapok, noted empath, to show up and be like, "Hey, kids, I'm your actual father."
Thank God Allie and Sophie are there.
When we come back, we're gonna hop to Quentin, so be ready for that that drop to not be resolved for a little bit. So Carlito stands on the command deck of this alliance of cargo containers and wrecked ships, looking down at Lita and says, so that's my 40-point plan on how we created this location. You know, I have to tell you, lead and sequoias are very impressive. I know that your people are going through the process of spreading them as far and as wide as you can in order to reclaim the planet from the toxic gas, but the more I look at the beautiful ecological balance of it all, the nutrients that the trees pull out of the poison seems almost necessary to maintain life. I'm so curious as to how the planet functioned before the scream.
Yeah. No, that's an interesting question. You know, it's one we don't really have records on. But I'm glad you're noticing sort of the uniqueness that is Lita.
Yeah.
The green path. It gets into you a little bit.
Well, we have genetically hyper optimized the capybara meal. Your people
It's impressive.
wanted fully homeopathic natural roots for it, but we've got a number of substitute chemicals that we've managed to inject into the process to stretch as much of the non-synthetic materials we can gather from the planet. I've tried to find people, mostly younger individuals who own a lot of farmland, in order to switch crops over to capybara feed, base elements. I think it's going well.
It's good. That's good. It's
So-
going to be a bit of a
Yeah,
process
there's
to
reduced
ramp your-
foodstuffs available on the planet, but there's also a reduced population. So, and we've got more supplies coming in. People are starting to get a taste for rations.
Well, I mean, it's definitely good that we've got more supplies in. We're definitely going to have to, you know, pay attention to the logistics of the situation here. Any sort of ramp up of production, like you said, it's got to be balanced with the food aspects. We're going to have to pay attention to that. And I know you'll be respectful of those things. Of course, we're working together. We're partners on these things. You've done a lot here. This has been impressive. You know, this was a garbage heap.
Sure. Mrs. Vostro was very helpful.
Yeah, I would like to have a conversation with Sophie when I get a chance, of course. She's uprooted herself just like, just like you, I guess, in this scenario, but a little bit more permanently on her part. What are your plans? Is this, you know, your new base of operations?
Yeah, we've
Where are you
moved
setting up
small
shop?
manufacturing to
Everything.
this orbital facility.
Not heading back to Midapile anytime soon, huh?
Midapile is no longer politically safe for me to inhabit. My
Well,
connection
that makes-
with you has made that tenuous.
Understandable. Yeah, that is high on my list of concerns, is just sort of the temperature of that situation heating up over time
Hey,
here. Phenomenon.
listen, I'll do what I can on my part. They get most of their combat drugs from me, so I'll put pressure on the generals.
I appreciate that. We are going to be making an expedition here and skedaddling for a little while, but we'll be back here as soon as we can. I'm going to do my best to make sure, you know, on whatever's front I can, you've got some support here in system from my side, but we're going to be playing the long game on this one. There's a lot to do, a lot to rebuild. A lot that has changed.
Yeah.
My sister's on planet. She's going to be running the show. Probably worth an introduction before we leave.
Maybe. I don't have a relationship with her. I have a relationship with you.
Live with that. We're definitely going to have to. What's the word I'm looking for here? Put a little bit of shine on some of the local area as we go about this. I'm sure you've got your eye on that. there's going to be a need to be an air of respectability with the rebuilding of the academy coming along. We'll have some different folks passing through, I'm sure.
My
Depending on where we
understanding is that you're going through this expedition. You told me quite some time ago that you're looking for a different psionic academy.
Absolutely,
Why
there's a
build
lot.
one here if you have a pre-built one ready to go?
Not a terrible thought, I suppose. Looking at a multi-system organization is not out of the question at this stage. I'll have to put some thought into that. Maybe, well, they've got the Goose Nest out there. You saw her. You helped me set that up. Bit more of a mobile operation already.
I greatly desire access to the showman class. I expect that you've found it to be a versatile vessel.
It's fantastic. It's met every need I could have had so far, and was easy
Hoping
to
to
set
trade
up.
up from the Ripper.
The Ripper. Yeah, it's worth the money if you got it sitting there. She's a beautiful ship. Basically runs itself. You should check out the little bots. There's something else.
The thing about purchasing ships from Phenomena Fleet Systems is that the money isn't always the issue.
Yeah. What's your issue? And what can I do to help?
Getting my name on the list. I don't know that there is anything you can do to help.
Fair enough.
I
certainly
knew
don't have a whole lot of
somebody
strings to pull.
who had a good relationship with me, who could get you a hookup because you already have a good relationship with the company. But
Right.
getting you a ship of first launchings and getting me a ship of first launchings are very different things. Thanana's classification of me is not as high status as it is of you.
I've been lucky in that regard with them so far.
Yes, well, I doubt that they would trust me with a combat-armed cruiser.
Fair enough. Well, if I see any lever I can push, I certainly will.
I think it would be best for you to remain out of this, Quentin. I wouldn't want your reputation to go down with me. My problems with Thanana are fully my own, and I would not stain you. What I do is a legitimate business that has existed since the dawn of human history. But I understand that there are individuals who don't see delivery of human pleasure and needs as being a worthwhile pastime.
Well, how do I put this, Carlito? I suppose I just didn't want you to think that I would be unwilling to publicly associate with you to a certain degree.
Oh, I'm sure everyone knows that we're together. I just don't want or need you going to bat for me on this one.
You got it.
I don't want to bring you down with me. No, I'll get my hands on cruisers and bigger ships one way or another.
You're a man of means and what? Machinations occasionally.
Sure. We're assembling a fleet here.
It's getting pretty big. How many ships are out there? What you got? 50, 60?
Not quite that many. A lot of visitors sniffing around. Barry and her
A lot of
little
activity.
defense force. Some rescue ships from Midipile. Raiders looking to sell goods at emergency prices. We've discouraged them as best we can, but
Got some surveyors we're going to put to work here in system. But
it's certainly not like you can't get mineral worth out of some asteroids in system, but it's not like you're going to find a strike of germanium or something here.
no. This is more of a short-term operation. See what they can do to kickstart some, development, rebuilding, infrastructure for folks on the ground if they need it, but resources, certainly. Common ones, simple ones. Help folks manufacture what they need if we can. help you here on the station if we can, find the right things.
It is. Price of basic materials is exceedingly expensive in system. The people on the planet as technological Luddites, and you can tell that there's a genuine bitterness he's trying to conceal. Have no use for anything more refined than steel. Even plastics are outside their normal reach, so when something breaks here, it costs a lot of money to ship a replacement part or even component materials from another system.
So it's always been, well, since I've made it out here, it's something I've definitely paid attention to. Certainly, I hope that little bit of industrialization up here in space could be.
I expect that your
benefit.
surveyors, Sophie's factory ships, and my end users can all come to a comfortable ecological system, just
That's
like
right.
Lita.
That's right. It's important to what's the word here? Stay in sync with everybody. Gonna be a lot of change, though.
As he says that, he floats forward to the rail, pressing right up on the glass that looks down on Lita, and just smirks down towards the planet.
Quentin will use his level 0 telepathy to just get a read on his emotions as he's watching.
I
There's
believe
no
he gets a say. No,
There's no save for this. Yeah, it's a very low level. It is. He can't read thoughts. He's literally just reading his emotional landscape.
Contentment, contempt. Yeah, those two.
Contentment and contempt. Yeah, that tracks for Quentin. He's how's that how to put it? He
You do have
is
to commit
feeling.
an effort to do this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's to establish the connection. That tracks for Quentin. I mean, when he's looking at Carlito, he's seeing his only choice in terms of ally at this point. The only way that he could get any resources to affect any sort of defense of Lita at this point, his only real option, but also a real problem and someone whose whole purpose in life would move Lita in a very different direction if he could.
After a few seconds of you scanning him, he hears a bing noise and looks down at his electronic device, and he turns towards you and he says, "It's extremely rude to use a psionic power on someone without letting them know."
Is there someone in the room with us?
You don't see anybody else in this room.
They would need to be, but well, fair enough. Testing something out. I don't really have much control over that. Just wanted to see how you were feeling, see how I was feeling. Promise you.
We'll send you a list of protocols we have for psionics on station.
Mm.
It's been necessary since we've entered so many into employment to keep the peace with the rest of us, he says as he smiles.
Yeah, Quentin's confused how he's able to have noticed, and with whom, because there really shouldn't be a meta-psionicist capable of it that he's aware of.
I mean, the meta-psionic power to pick up a power nearby is pretty low level.
Yeah, but it takes sight and like presence.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
You would have to be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
There would have to be someone nearby able to look at you. Yeah.
All right.
And there goes our last friend.
Look, he's just mad that you did something psionic around him. He doesn't know what you did, right? He's not like, you read my mind. He just said you used a power on. Could have cleaned some lint off of his shoulder.
Good.
He's not accusing you of anything specific beyond that.
Well, this is an impressive operation. I do appreciate all your efforts. I don't know what I'd be doing without you. Don't want you to think otherwise.
I'll let you get back to it. We've got a
Great.
lot here, and I guess movie night's over for now. I better strap in for another day in the seat at the command console. Let me get the people who work in this room back in here. He puts his hands behind his back and again stares pridefully down at Lita as he presses some buttons, and people wearing various spacesuits and uniforms begin flooding back into the room, turning consoles back on. Operations begin to pick up. You hear chatter in the background that any spaceship simulator will have of different ships docking and undocking.
Beautiful.
Van-Vee,
Well, Hal, that certainly is one way to blend in, I suppose. This is Zach. I'll call him my brother. You're gonna call him probably another y'all, but
he looks
Zach.
at Zach for a minute and then says, Zach, I know a little bit about you. Do you have it? You have the stuff? And Zach immediately pulls it out of his spacesuit, still sealed in its little container perfectly, and hands it over, and Hal just starts looking at it. It's kind of hard to get a look out here. Should probably go into the airlock so I can get a closer look at it.
Okay. I guess. What exactly are your intentions with this? Can you tell just by looking at it? You don't have to run anything. You can just look.
What? No, I'm gonna get a taste of it and see what the programming inside is like. It's
Taste
nano
of it.
machines, son. Sorry, that was a Metal Gear Revengeance. He didn't say that. I said that.
I was like, I clearly have not understood how dust works if these are nano machines.
They are nano machines. That's exactly what dust is. It's nano machines.
Well, okay, then.
I'm going to ingest a small amount of dust and allow my dust to take a look at it.
And you, God, I have so much to learn. You can do that? You can just observe by ingesting some and having yours look at theirs?
Yeah, there's a lot that you don't know.
Well, you see, Zach, this is why we need Paul.
Zach is just so cool.
All right, well,
Hal switches over to personal suit com to com, and he says, you don't have anything to worry about. Zach isn't one of us. I was mistaken.
I'm sorry, what?
He's a genetic clone of y'all, but his dust is completely inactivated.
And you could tell just by looking at him?
I mean, by looking at him with my capabilities, yes. Not physically, not with my eyes, no.
Can I try to use my link to reach out to Zach?
Yeah. Now, my question is, when you say link, do you mean the organ, the link in your brain, or do you mean use your dust to extend your consciousness electromagnetically outside of your brain in a way that you've literally never attempted?
I was originally thinking just the organ.
Yeah.
But the latter sounds like it would be
It's
a good
crazy.
idea
Hal's
too.
introduced you to an ability that you have literally never heard of and have never attempted. Yes.
I guess I'll start with the organ because I've done that before.
Okay. Your brother has a link. You are aware that he has a link. There is nothing further you can do from that. That's because the communication is, more or less receive only status.
Right. I guess how would
You know what? Actually, you do get information when you probe your brother. You receive a update that this is mandate citizen. Y'all. I'm looking for his original last name. Hold on a second. Dr. Y'all Vantis.
Yes. So I mean, okay. So I get he's a clone. The link just confirmed that he's y'all. I guess what do you mean he's dormant, not active?
Your personality. If your body dies, your personality will remain in the dust.
Right.
If I were to take Zach's spacesuit off and kill him right now, he would be dead.
But why is his dust not active? I didn't know it could
I don't
be
know.
inactive.
Look, I would take a much further analysis with your brother to do that. Look, we've stood here and had like a full minute conversation while your brother's looking at us. Are we going to go into the airlock to check this dust out?
Yeah.
Or...
Okay, let's go.
Okay. An irritated Hal marches in the lead back into the airlock, and once it's all sealed up, he rips his helmet off, pops the seal on.
Wait, immediately like this quick?
Yeah, like.
Mm.
You want to do anything before he?
But I am super nervous. He's just gonna chug the whole thing and become like a super dust. But if I still have my suit on, I don't think there's anything I can do about it. So
I mean, you can clamp your hand over it. You could physically stop him. You could tell him to stop.
I would say just a sip now, just a little bit.
You've got
you
practice
said.
shooting someone that looks like him.
Yeah.
Well, I have so honestly, that was why I asked about joked about the wallet thing. I was like, all right, there's no way I can get a wallet. So my gun's covered too. So I think I'll just say, just remember, just a little bit sip, like you said.
Okay. I would like you to make a talk charisma roll to convince Hal not to do the thing he's been planning to do for months.
Would you say diplomacy is a thing here?
Yes, you get to re-roll all ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. There's only been like one time all season that all
But
session.
you
campaign.
re-roll the ones all the time.
No, I was gonna say there's only been one time where I haven't had a one to re-roll.
Oh, okay. Jesus.
Give me those ones,
Dunamis,
baby.
what are you doing?
Give me those ones. Oh, that's a pretty good score.
All right, what's your in
11.
total? 9 plus 2 for
11.
11? Okay. Just ones all day long.
That is the exact set of rolls you rolled 1 week ago.
You're right, 8-4. Oh my god. And what's odd is I used strength to talk for some reason. I don't know what that
You were
intimidation.
intimidating.
Too funny.
He looks sheepishly at you. It's clear at this moment that he was planning to betray you, and you have appealed to some small empathetic sense of justice in
I
his
think I would
heart.
call it pity. He takes pity on us.
No, I think it's that he doesn't want to betray you. And
I'll take it.
there is a relationship between you and him which is not brotherly, but does involve something like family. You are similar to him, and you are begging him not to betray you. And he goes from tipping it back to just full out swallow all of it to just dipping a pinky finger in and licking the end of it. And he says, these are completely blank. They have been erased of any programming whatsoever, which includes the altered programming which was introduced for our people, the 20.
So
You could upload copies of your program to it. Sybil included that kind of function. I'm guessing you don't know how to do that, but I suspect you'd do it instinctively.
So Bryce was actually trying to help potentially. If these are truly blank. Sorry, did you say something? Am I there?
He said he, and then he trailed off while sighing. Bryce Cullington Dover is a jackass. But the man I met who was part of the Circle of Eight had a long time to reconsider a life of regrets that led to him fleeing our homeworld. Our real homeworld.
Well, I gotta say, I am double impressed right now, both by Bryce, but also yourself, Hal. I guess the question is now, what do we do with this? Because this is pretty valuable, right? And you're telling me Zach is, and I'm now saying this out loud. Zach he does have dust, but they're dormant. So it wouldn't change anything for him, right? So really, are you and I the only people that this would do anything for?
Well, I mean, if you gave more of this dust to Zach and he learned self-programming somehow, I mean, it's way outside of my capabilities, but if Sybil was around, she could probably reprogram and allow him to upload himself to his own dust.
It's Sybil's back in Scarfy, right?
Assumably, yeah.
Well,
I can't wait to see her again.
Last we know, yeah. Well, gosh, so tell you what, let's save this until we finish our ferry, hopefully getting that transhuman interface thing unlock it, and I'd like to bring Zach with that too.
You want to bring Zach on board the ship, right? And Zach's like, yeah, I'm going to be joining the crew.
Well, we got to run that by Sophie, Zach. You know that. But it's good with me. If it's good to the captain, it's good to Sophie. You got three big check boxes, and you got to check for me, Zach. Is there? Although he seems a little like he bounces around. Like why did Hal call that out? You okay with that, Hal?
With what?
Well, if Zach joins the crew.
Why wouldn't I be?
I don't know, just you called it out, so I just making sure everything's all right.
He's not like us, but he could be. He's got all the templates there, the building blocks.
I think I try to turn it into like a positive and say, clap Zach on the shoulder to see, you've got a lot of potential, Zach.
Yeah, Zach is nodding and he goes, yeah, you are definitely not like my dad at all. Yeah, you are a weird guy.
That is true. Well,
Hal Wamapoke, wearing the face of your father, wearing clown makeup, turns to look at Zach and nods and goes, I get that a lot.
I guess I would ask that you maybe take some of this off before we go to ferry.
I think that's unwise.
Unwise?
Yeah.
I mean, you really think that disguise is that Zach? Did you see Dad, right? Like this guy's not fooling anyone.
With the spacesuit helmet off, puts a hand on your shoulder and says, your father is a wanted criminal who died.
I don't think your disguise here is going to fool anyone, Hal, especially an AI.
I'm not worried about fooling the AI. I'm sure you've told her much more than she needs to know. It's everyone else that's a problem.
Well, I didn't tell Ferry, but I know someone probably did. Minerva. But all right.
So
Well,
much Minerva suspicion.
all right. I think uh, Zach, you want to come around to go on ferry, right? Just for a little bit, and we'll come back here talk
He's
to
like,
Sophie.
Yeah, that would be incredible. I heard it's
All
the
right.
biggest ship that anyone's ever seen.
Yeah, it's pretty big. I've only been on it once before. Very luxurious, very nice. I think we're good to go check it out. I'm trying to replay back. Did Sophie say don't let him on the ship, period, without checking me with me? Or what were her exact?
I believe she told you not to take her son away on your ship without talking to her first.
That could be interpreted a few ways, like leaving the
Letter of the
system.
law, this qualifies.
Yeah, I feel like getting on the ship. He's like, all right, you know what? Let's. All right, you know what? I'll meet you back on the ship. Zach and I just gotta go talk to Sophie again, real quick.
Okay. He puts his helmet back on, then takes it off again because he's just going to walk through the.
I mean, I get the vial back.
You get the vial back from him, and he hands you over the seal on the top of it,
Perfect.
so you can reseal it closed.
This is trust building. He trusts me not to drink it, and I trust him not to drink it. Very good.
He's not in the slightest bit concerned you're going to drink it.
This is true because I have no idea how to program or use it.
He just told you that you'll probably do it subconsciously and automatically.
Oh, I thought he said you don't know how to do that.
Yes, but
But
he
you could
also
learn.
told you that you would probably just do it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm still not going to do it.
He takes his helmet back off and then moves to just walk through the interior of the station back to the ship, rather than walk along the outside of the cold, pressureless, oxygenless.
Fair. All right. And I don't know if this needs to be a full conversation, but I basically want to just inform Sophie face to face. I want to bring Zach onto ferry.
She has a
Into it.
list of demands that include
Oh boy.
ensuring the safety of your brother and continuing education goals. And when she learns that there's a virtual intelligence on board, she begins checking its programming versus like available schooling.
Ooh, okay. So, what kind of career path do you think for education? Maybe he's been going on medic because of, what I said beforehand, but like what do you think, Sophie?
I'm
What's
going
Zach's
to let
specialty?
him choose his own path, but
All right.
he will need to regularly complete assignments, working towards credits and degrees.
What do you want? Like a weekly check-in, monthly?
I'm sure whatever virtual program you have can set a reasonable pace for him using the parental guidance system.
All right. Well,
I don't need to know the exact process of whatever system you have because I'm not familiar with those kinds of electronics, but it will get the job done. Because if it doesn't, you're both going to end up back here.
so I mean, I was just asking permission to bring him to ferry and then back here, but it sounds like, with these terms, you're okay letting him join our crew?
I don't think I could stop him from joining your crew.
See.
And I want to make sure that when he leaves, it's on terms that are understood.
Well, I'll sign it in blood. He's my brother. I ain't gonna let nothing bad to him happen to him.
Zach, can you leave the room for a minute?
Oh, shit.
I bet you probably said something similar like that to your father as well. I'm not going to let anything bad happen to you. I need
Explain,
you
trying to
to
put back.
value your brother's life more than your own. You and your crew do some very risky things, and I need your word that you aren't going to be taking any risks that are going to harm your brother. that you'll be taking safe jobs, salvage jobs, cargo transit jobs. No gun shooting, no murders on stations, no police cover-ups or bribes, no wars.
Well, we are a salvage ship. We're hoping to avoid all war, but we are making some risky jumps. I got to be honest. Jumps that I really need to dial everything in, or all of us could be at risk. So it's not a cakewalk, but we're not going into a war zone. It's just we're in a risky business.
Right. I'm aware that you don't value your own life very much. I helped raise you.
That's
How
not
much do
okay.
you value? You left home and I didn't hear from you for years. Let's not pretend that you taking risks and also gambling to buy a ship and taking out massive loans and then increasingly buying larger and larger ships on loans. Let's not pretend that I don't know what the state of your finances looks like. Okay.
Well, I don't pretend at all. I mean, you talk to Quentin
need
quite
you
often.
to value your brother's life more than you value your own, because it's clear to me that you don't value your own life. But my hope is that if your brother goes with you, you'll keep both of you safe.
I mean, Mom, I gotta be honest. The jumps we're making, all it takes is one bad calculation, and we're all gone.
Then why
I'm
are
not-
you doing it? What's so important? You told me that you were going to find out whoever your real mother was at basically any cost, and I told you you should go do that. But now, here you are months later, chasing yourself in circles. It doesn't sound like you've made any progress on that. Where are you going that these unknown risky jumps that you want to take your brother on? Your only brother.
Well, I mean, there are two. You turn on the listening device or the anti-listening device. Like I just stick my hand in my pocket and flick it on.
Sure.
There are two places we might end up going, both of which have risk of failure. I mean, one of them is to locate Grace, and I got to tell you, based off what Hal has told me, I do not consider her a mother, to be honest. But
you're intent on finding her.
I am. I just don't know if it's our number one priority as a crew, as a team. But that would require us jumping up to Scarfy, and that's a jump that 99% of ships can't make, and don't have a pilot that can make it.
Well, I have to tell you, Zach is not her son. He's my son.
Oh, I think he takes psychic damage right there for the implied "you're not my son."
That's not what she says. She sees your pain and she says, I was not pregnant. I was pregnant with Zach. And how he has somehow managed to become part of whatever this cloning project is beyond me. It's clear that your father has probably done something to me or to Zach. Both are quite bad. The fact that we aren't having this conversation about Allie tells me a lot about your father's priorities. And the kind of behavior I'm seeing from you right now makes me worried that you're taking the same kind of reckless risks and decisions that he did that led him to where he is now, which is dead.
Well, I can't argue with any of that. Nor do I want to. So I will find a reason to keep Zach here. He ain't gonna like it. He's gonna fight it. But we're taking risky jumps. That's what we do. We take risky jobs, and that's not going to change. And so, you know what? If I can't 100% guarantee his safety just from a flight, then he's better off here. Better off with you.
I need you to tell him that now that you've hyped him up for all of this.
Maybe after these next couple jumps are over, we can come back again and see where we're at. But I have a feeling our sector will be quite different if we're successful in our jumps.
Okay. You can tell that she's wiping away some tears.
In a good way.
In a highly stressful conversation way.
Yeah,
That you've made it clear that if you don't think it's safe enough for Zach, that means you're probably going to die doing this.
It's possible. Okay. Okay. Well,
She pulls you into a hug.
is this like a real? No, wait, Allie was the one that did the fake hug before. Okay. I'll hug her back.
This is a real hug from someone who's convinced that you're going to go kill yourself.
Oh, God, what a terrible spin. Okay. I'll give her.
What do you mean a
hug back,
terrible spin? You just told her you have no insurances that you are going to attempt something incredibly dangerous and that you could die.
What's the difference between it's risky to it's a suicide mission? But all right, Sophia, I'm going to do my best to come back. I think I will come back, but best way for Zach to stay safe is to not to come. So that's what
you explain that to him, and she comes out of the hug and she moves you to arm's length, but she puts hands on your shoulders and says, "I need you to come back. Your family needs you to come back." There's one thing I actually don't understand. I'm not sure I followed everything you were talking about, but you said something along the lines of that the dust lets you move between bodies or stay alive after the death of the host.
Yes. He's now
What
thinking back
happened
to when
after your father died?
Where
Where did he go?
As far as I know, there was no other host around for him to attach to, so he's
So your father isn't actually dead.
This is floating dust.
Don't know where he is, and he's floating dust.
Somewhere in space, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
somewhere in space. So your father could be literally anywhere or anyone. You don't know where he is, or even that he's okay. And that was months ago, and we're only just having this conversation right now.
I'm still learning this stuff, Sophie. I'm trying.
Okay,
He was going to blow our ship up. I had to do something.
Yeah, and he ruined my life and the lives of our children, including you. Yes. So I'm concerned that he might still be around, based on what you've told me.
I guess I can talk to Hal to figure out if there's a way to trace and hunt him down. There's like other ways of connecting with the dust. I don't quite understand, but
Okay.
Hal seems knowledgeable.
Yeah, here's my question. Hal seems knowledgeable, right?
Yeah.
Why didn't Hal ask you this question?
Well, I don't
How
know.
much do you trust that man? The man that wears the face of my husband that you apparently can't even bring to this house.
Well, you asked me not to bring him, Sophie. Honestly, an hour ago, I don't know how
And
much
it
I
sounds
trusted him
kind
at
of
all,
like I
but
was right not to trust him.
in the past hour, I thought I gained, or he gained some of my trust because he didn't drink that vial that Zach has had, which I know doesn't mean a whole lot to you, but I feel like that was his intent to kind of betray
Sorry.
and do that. He
What
didn't.
vial are we talking about?
And I assume that the thing Zach brought out right in front of us. I'm assuming she was still there when he did that.
No. She
Didn't
doesn't
he
know
go?
anything
Didn't
about
he
this
go?
part. Yeah,
run
but
into the room
yeah,
and come
but
back in?
he had that conversation with you privately away from your mom.
Oh, I thought we were still in like the common room then. All right. Well,
This is the first she's heard about it.
so do I still have it on me?
Yeah.
I'll pull it out and say this came from one of the 8 that Dad was with, and supposedly it was a gift to Zach, but I've been telling him don't touch it, don't do anything with it. That's why I was so urgent to get back here, and
Okay, that's a good call.
I'm glad I can do something right every now and then.
Well, you know, your brother is almost as curious as you are, and impulsive.
As Van-Vee's thinking, maybe I don't trust that Hal at all, and I should take a sip. Well, I think it's best I keep this just in case now, so Zach isn't tempted. But yeah, I mean, supposedly this is more blank dust here that could be reprogrammed, I suppose. But I don't know how any of that works. I don't know how to do that. And told it, going to Hal, my one source here, that it could happen on its own. But I don't. I think it's best to keep it away from Zach until we
I think
understand
you need
more.
to reevaluate your relationship with Hal and how much you trust him.
I don't have anyone else. I don't have any other knowledge to base anything off unless I jump to Scarpy. There is no one else.
Well, apparently there's your father. If you could figure out where he is.
I gotta be honest. I don't trust him at all. Even if I could find him, even if he still go, I don't know
So
where he
you
is or what he's
trust
doing.
Hal more than you trust your father.
I mean, technically they're the same. I'm the same.
I can't pretend that I understand what you're going through. But what I know is that there is a man traveling with you who, well, he may not be lying to you. He's not telling you the whole truth. And you are blindly trusting him. And he is not worthy of that trust.
All right. I guess I need to make him earn it more. He's kind of thinking. He's now thinking back to like the conversations he's had with Minerva about if, Van-Vee's body ever died, was their way to communicate. And I don't think we had those conversations pre y'all being shot, but he's still going to ask Minerva later if there was any like sensory connections you could have done with Blank at that time.
You had those conversations after you died
That's what I figured.
on the moon. Because you felt alone and completely without senses, trapped in your own dead skull.
Yeah. Right. But we also didn't have any link up and running at that time.
Sure.
Right.
But I want to be really clear here. The link and the dust
The
are
two
not
different
the
things,
same
yeah.
thing.
But we haven't figured I'm this is a long thought process to have mid-conversation, but I don't think we've established a way to talk through dust. Only the link, right?
That's, as far as you know, there isn't any.
Yes, other than
Based
what Hal
on
knows.
the people you've talked
Other
to.
than my one source of information who could easily be lying.
Well, I would point out the Circle of Eight all verbally communicated with you every
Sure.
time you've spoken with them.
You got a vial of stuff that could be analyzed.
It could. I thought you were about to say you have a vial of stuff that you could just chug and see what happens. But all right, Sophie. Well, and without even noticing it, like I should say, Van-Vee's not doing it intentionally, but whenever things are good, he keeps calling her mom. But then whenever there's an argument, he calls her Sophie.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll make Hal earn it more. I'll go talk to Zach. And then we got to go head to Ferry. I don't want to keep Ferry's not the type of person you want to keep waiting, but I made it a priority to come see you guys first.
Okay, it's nice that you're
Sorry,
on a first name basis with a carrier. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what do you call it? Just Fanana? Okay, Fanana's main ship, I guess, ferry. But
When I call her, I mostly call her trade representatives. We don't really speak directly.
oh, I guess that's fair. All right.
I don't think you know how special.
Well, we are a very unique crew, which is why I thought it would be cool to have Zach along with us. But I understand the safety concerns for sure. I need to put him first.
Look,
like
before
said.
you go, Carlito's a good guy, right? I can trust him.
He hasn't given us a reason not to trust him, but he deals in drugs. I mean,
He's a chemist.
Sure. I mean, he's uses chemistry to make drugs, amongst other things.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll keep you guys safe. I trust him to do that for sure.
Okay, that's a weird thing to say, but all right.
Well, I mean, I'm just looking around at this compared to where you guys were, and I feel bad. And I think you need kind of that assurance of not security per se, but someone who can always make sure things are going in the right direction.
Okay, well, I was asking a really basic question. I don't need you dictating my relationships and dating life. I'm your mom.
Well, that's not. Okay, that's not what I meant either. But okay. I think I'm gonna go see Ferry. I'll be back.
Talk to your brother. Make sure he understands.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Mom. He's like a kid leaving, like he just got detention going to his room or something.
Yeah, she told you can't take your brother on a suicide mission to the edge of the galaxy. And you're like, oh, darn.
I think they both probably get little like chirp messages from Quentin, Sophie asking if she has 5 minutes at some point to chat. He wanted to touch base.
Okay. Yeah, let's have that immediately. They send cuts immediately to her.
You get a response in all caps.
What do you want? Turrets on the inside.
We can both also have a text from
It's like
MINERVA
on the other side
asking
of
if you
the
could go shopping for pre-tech.
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay. She makes it
Beautiful.
a 3-way video call, MINERVA, Quentin, and herself. Just like, okay, how's everyone doing?
Who's this?
Oh,
Sophie?
wait, I'm
Sophie.
on the call. What? Really?
Yes, she's calling. I thought you just texted her
No,
about
no, I
pre-tech.
texted the phone.
Oh, okay. All right, then it's just her and Quentin. She says, okay,
Okay.
yeah, how's it going?
Hey, Sophie. It's good to see you. Don't know that. How do I put this? I don't have a whole lot that I can, do to improve the situation on this end. But you're here with a whole bunch of folks and a whole company. I don't know what's going on your end or what I can do to help. But if lead-in citizenship or some facilitation of a permanent sort of base for you and your people here is something I could push along.
Sure, I'll talk to your sister about it.
That's great. That's the perfect idea.
Sure. Can you explain to me what exactly you're doing sending my son on a mission he tells me he might not come back alive from?
I'm sorry. He says...
Captain?
Well, definitely we are about to go into some risky parts unknown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm sure you have quite an idea that we've stuck our... how do I put this? Foot in plenty of piles that maybe not the best thing, but we got plenty of good reasons to go there. And I promise you that the reason I feel comfortable going is because of your son.
I need you to look out for him. I'm not threatening you. I'm begging you to look out for my son. I need to know that you're doing everything possible.
If I can get him back in one piece, I will. And I will do everything up to giving my life to do so. I promise you that much. And the thing that I will ask in return is that you maybe afford some of that same effort and consideration for my sister here on planet and my people here. How about that?
I am doing what I can to make Leiden a financially viable, modern technological trading partner.
That is the best that I could ask of you. And
It's gonna take
express to you how much I
a
appreciate everything on Lita here is going to take a while.
Your people
knowing that-
farm with hand tools.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Okay. We're going to try to get them up to speed.
Thank you. And I will do everything I can to keep Van-Vee safe.
All right, Captain. Closes the communications terminal. Boop. Skype noises. Minerva, you sent a message to your fellow crew members about pre-tech?
Yeah, Quentin's gonna hit up that market. Let's see what we can
There's
find. See what's
absolutely
out
no
there.
pre-tech in this system.
No doubt.
You can't even find post-tech in this system. Anything that isn't nailed down is being sold to lead-ins.
Is there anything interesting we can buy?
Drugs.
Yeah, you still got that free taste offer.
Oh, sure.
Genghis Khan.
No. Yes, Genghis Khan.
Giga Cap.
Giga Kane's coming.
Giga Kane.
Do you want to run the world? Giga Kane.
Guess you guys
so, yeah.
get to have an awkward conversation with Farron.
Oh shit!
Let's do it.
Okay, so Van-Vee, his brother, Quentin, and Hal are all boarding a lander and flying over to Ferry.
Sounds right.
Okay. While you're attempting to start docking procedures, you are waved off by the automated port controller that tells you don't have access or authorization to dock here.
Quentin probably messages Iono.
Okay.
Says, hey, I thought we had a meeting. Are you on Ferry already?
Yes, this Minerva did something. I think you'd better talk to them. Look, I'm in a meeting right now.
Thank you.
I'll have to get back to you.
Good luck.
He hangs up.
Good. Oh, baby.
I just appreciate that wasn't me for once.
Al is fuming. I thought you promised me that we could get into the central nerve cortex of this organization, and now you're telling me we can't even land on the ship?
You're just as surprised as I am, Hal. We have a really good relationship with Ferry. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I mean, we've been there before.
Zach just looks disappointed. He's staring out the window of the
straightened
cargo
out,
lighter
maybe?
towards the ship as you orbit it. You can see that one of the defense cruisers has basically moved to interpose itself between you and the ship.
Oh, Zach, we'll give you a tour of the Goose Nest. How about that? We can. She's an impressive ship too. Fanana built.
So I'm still trying to think what it would be, but I want to create a scenario that makes Zach think he's still not cut out and he couldn't make it on our
So rather
crew
than
in the
tell him
ship.
he can't come, you are going to trick him into thinking he can't come.
Yes,
Wow.
that feels like a very Van-Vee and James thing to do.
That is so bad, so incredibly manipulative. All right.
Rather
Through
than
a certification test that he has to fail.
rather than crush his dreams and say you can't come, he'd rather be find something that clearly says you're not ready.
Okay, I'll tell you what you could do. You could just ask your little bots to create a test for basic spacemanships. Officer training, know how the bridge terminals work, communications officer, a really hard advanced course, and then relabel it as basic. And when he clearly fails it because he has no experience running an entire cruiser by himself,
He gets the Kobayashi Maroon.
Yeah.
I think as this test is going on, you'll get a ping from Minerva asking what's going on.
I think
Because that's incredibly unusual.
I almost wonder
Minerva
if
is spying on the cruiser, so
I even wonder would Zach pass the basic test? Does it need to be the advanced one relabel?
He's lived in space his entire life.
Yeah. I guess I get not knowing what this test was. I guess yeah. Let's make it more difficult and relabel it. He feels bad about this, but he thinks it's better than crushing his dreams for saying you just can't come.
yeah, watching this test happen, you have a waiting message from Minerva trying to figure out what is happening with the sim.
Yeah, in BattleTech when you're overheating and you hit the override button, that's what Minerva's getting right now.
Oh, hey, wait, shut up. What about smoke grenades? Smoke grenades?
Are we ever gonna have a conversation between Minerva and the rest of the crew members?
That's what I was going to say. Is while Van-Vee's doing that, if he's giving the tour, Quentin's teleported over to the Hasta and is like in person with Minerva. Like, what did you do?
I got a smoke grenade. We can try.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Yeah, I got a.
Please, Minerva, what did you do? What happened? We can't lose Fairy. We can't lose Finana too. We've already lost Midapile.
You know when I can toss this?
I did not want to die.
They threatened you?
No.
Yeah.
What happened? How are they going to kill you?
I spoke with Fairy. Fairy is the friend that I have that I think understands me better. At least understands my existence.
I'm going to go to smoke. Let me know when you're ready.
And I thought maybe I
I don't
could
know
talk
if
to
this
a few
is
things. And
Okay.
apparently
Yeah.
my existence is concerning.
Oh, Minerva. What did you say? What do you mean? What do they know now?
Well, they're the ones who told me that my memories of my origin
Looks like it's working now.
were accurate.
Well, they
So
won't let us on the ship.
I understand that because I refuse to allow them to have unrestricted access to my core
I
in my
feel like
code.
shit, but yeah, it looks like
that I have damaged
Maybe
that
I won't feel like
relationship.
shit.
Would
So
you
you
allow a
opened up
doctor?
to a friend and it backfired?
I did. I did at least ask the cyber psychologist I was speaking to
Yeah.
to pass along the message
Really?
that they should at least entertain a conversation between you and Finana to figure out if there's whatever it is you would like to do.
You know
I
the
don't
board.
want
They
to
might have
be-
entertained it for 10,000 years. We would never know if they've already made their choice.
Well, have you spoken with them yet?
Well, we had an appointment and we got waved off. And I spoke to Yono and she said it's a no-no. So
Let's go get that stego.
Well, here's
We'll do that.
from what I understand, at least the implication. There, as long as we are crew together, they consider you every part of the danger that my existence represents. If you wish for your people, if the relationship with Finana is more important, and it should be, then you should talk to them. I'm not worth more than the future of your people. But I'm not going to die either. I wouldn't be upset if you chose your people over me. That makes sense.
Insight check.
no, I don't
You
know
don't need
that
to
they'll
make an
give
insight
me-
check. You know that Ohana means family.
Oh, Minerva, I don't think they're going to give me that choice at the end of the day, but I certainly will see if they're willing to still have a conversation with us. They're not openly hostile. They just said to go away. So whatever's happened, it's Well, par
the
for
other,
this course is what it is. Par for this course.
the other danger is if they have unrestricted access to my code, they have unrestricted access to my memories, including our time with Agent Johnson.
I don't blame you. I just wish you hadn't opened up to Fairy, but you know, cat's out of the bag. It is what it is. That just makes things harder. But that's the story. Things just get harder sometimes.
I mean,
Figure it out. We'll work it out.
You have your family that can understand how the universe is different for you. I thought the only one that I had was Fairy.
Don't blame me one bit for seeking out a little bit of understanding. Just seems like that's coming to my detriment, unfortunately. Our detriment? I don't know. Hopefully nobody's. How about that? Fingers crossed. I don't think there's any quick way out. How's Van-Vee doing? Is he still giving his test?
Yes.
I think right around now you're like, all right, Zach, and this is, you know, the common area.
Do you understand
Captain
why?
Zach in the background? You just hear it like rolling off a bunch of orders. What do you say we do? Enemy ships are closing in. Zach's just like, this is the basic spacers training? Okay, return fire.
What? Do you understand why Van-Vee is being so mean to his brother right now?
Well, all right. Yeah, this is a family thing. See, he doesn't want to let him down. He wants to let him down gently if it's going to happen. Zach really wants to come with us, and we're about to head off to, well, it's going to be a dangerous one. You know that, Minerva.
I do.
Zach really wants to come, and I don't think Van-Vee is willing to take that risk with him just yet.
And he thinks that crushing his confidence is preferable to making him upset.
I don't think Van-Vee's put that much thought into that part of it. That's a completely reasonable point, but
I have to admit, I'm inclined to intervene,
oh,
but I haven't yet. But it seems like the humane thing to do.
you know what, Minerva? You might want to run that. No, as always, you do what feels right to you. I trust you, but this one might maybe go in Van-Vee's favor. You might want to listen to his instinct on this one.
His instincts aren't very good usually.
Oh,
Tell me that
It's a
you
good
would make
point.
the majority of the decisions that he has.
I would not. I certainly would not. But, you know, it's his family. I don't want to get in the way of him and his family. Look, if you think you can make it a little easier on Zach, but, you know, this is important to Van-Vee. He loves his brother. This is the way he knows how to do it, if nothing else.
Okay. There's a few personalities that have been set aside to try to ensure that at the end of the simulation, Zach is thoroughly overwhelmed but can pull up like a minor victory out of it.
Oh, hey,
What is that? Partial victory? What was that show you saw
Hey, there's
about AP
another-
where you don't win but you
there's
partially?
another strategy.
Pretty much every show I've ever had.
Yeah,
It was-
there's another strategy.
You know what it was? It was with Spoon, I think, saying he won something, and he's
No,
like, I didn't come.
get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, that's
Stop.
what it is though.
Stop.
I know what it is.
Okay. Let me say this then.
So yeah,
I can
that's
make
how
a-
I alter the simulation. I
Do this.
don't know what he's doing, but I don't want him to completely crush his brother.
Fuck, that's
That just
Well,
seems
for psychological safety.
I mean, at no point did he say he wants him to get like a 0, but he just wants
Just
to get
underpassing.
He's not ready.
Can we assume Zach goes back? A fumingly mad Hal settles back into the ship. Is there anything else you want to do in system before you plan to go anywhere else?
Quentin would
Yoda
reach out
returns
to
to the
the
ship.
surveyors,
Okay.
give them their basic orders of
you're right.
seeking out
The ship
resources that are
office
useful for the construction in system, and lending their surveying resources to the academies groundwork. And in terms of the Golden Goose, we do want to get an extra base built here when that time rolls around. Just if we're out of contact.
Okay. Vice Captain Bussin acknowledges receipt of your orders.
Beautiful. And the God Hand crew.
Okay. You're sending
Our
them a
psionic
message?
assassins. I'm going to send them a message, and that until further notice, remain in system, information gathering, keep an eye on the happenings, approach Zoe as needed, based on emergency situations, etc. Essentially, their goal is to keep the peace and
Weren't you going to have her
Information
spy
gathering.
on Carlito?
that's what I'm saying. Is essentially keep an eye on Carlito, what he's doing. Essentially, make the information gathering situation, because I don't know what's gonna go on while we're gone, and essentially, Zoe is their contact should they feel the need.
While you're doing the voiceover for all of this part, we're just watching a pretty woman in her 20s walk into Carlito's command center, walk up to people, put a hand on their shoulder, and have a quiet conversation with them that normally starts with hey, how did you get in here, before they turn and look ahead again and go back to whatever they were doing as she goes to each person.
Sounds ominous.
I would like to send an emergency procedures course. It says that it was sent by Van-Vee
Yeah,
to Zach.
Okay.
I can take you. I got
From just sending it from me.
And I just ping you so you can see that you have sent your brother a course.
You
So you're
BCC
not just
him, yeah.
being mean. Yeah.
Well, now I'm going to reply all. I'm just kidding.
But otherwise, I think we're ready to fuel up and make our dangerous jumps.
That shit out of
Is
drops,
Iona
so, okay, you guys
back
use
on
it all.
board, or is she?
She
been moved
will
from the group?
reboard at the last possible minute.
Just use it up.
All right.
Are we ready to jump? Because Hal still thinks we're going to Scarfy.
Man, this shit's
And he needs to pilot one of the ships. Right? Am I wrong in that? If we can just if we can ignore that and we just suddenly are going in the right direction, great.
You can't
What?
ignore that.
That feels like a pretty big problem we have.
Hmm.
And it just got 10 times worse.
Van-Vee.
You wanna make a roll to convince them that we have to grab smokes and milk on the way?
It's soaps and bullets.
Well, Hal, it seems like nothing I'm trying to do is going the right way here. We need to get to the Shivada system. I know that's in the opposite direction of Scarfy. Scarfy's just north of us. I know everything just went south. And trying to get on ferry and see what's going on there. But I don't know what else to say at this point, but we need you. We're going to Shivada, and we need you to come with us. And I don't know what I can offer you in return other than this. And I hold out the vial. I mean, this is why you wanted to go to Scarfy originally, right? And get more of this. I have a hunch there could be some more of this in Shivada.
I wanted to go to Scarfy to be back with my people. It's great to have this. But you promised me that we were going back there.
We got to go Shivada first. If we complete Shivada, I will.
We could be dead.
I will personally bring you back to Scarfy.
Listen, I need you to be very clear here. I am willing to risk my life to get back to Scarfy. I am not willing to repeatedly risk my life a real, true, not like this body dies, like the ship explodes in transit, dead, permanent dead. Because you want to go to some other place after you made promises. I'm off the ship. Let me be very clear about that. Keep your vial. Your relationship with you and me, we're done. You've betrayed me twice in a single day in a way that I would not let any man do. Ever.
There is no. Well, no, so I'm
No,
out of character for a second.
Yeah, okay. Because he's turning and leaving and finding a lighter to take him to somewhere, anywhere.
There is. So as far as Van-Vee knows, he definitely cannot go to the Zenatus system, right? Because that's where the protection zone, he'll get flagged. And there's nothing that exists that is publicly available that could be able to jump him from where we are now to Scarfy. So either he has to pilot there with the ship, or I have to pilot there.
Sure. But you've just flatly and outrightly betrayed him repeatedly.
Right. Well, I guess I'm just, is there no scenario where I could get him a ship and let him do it himself, basically?
You could all get on MINERVA's ship and give him the Goose Nest.
And he has no money, right? I think he said that.
He has not indicated to you any level of wealth or material.
Pretty sure he has no money. Balls. The last place I want to leave this guy now is in the same system with my family.
Yeah, that'd be crazy with a genetically compatible Zach full of all those delicious blank nano machines.
This is a pickle. So he's
Emergency
walking.
crew swap. Zach's coming with us then.
I think at this point, MINERVA and Quentin just get, well, unless you're already listening or in the room, message just from Van-Vee, just, we got a problem. We only got one pilot. We got 2 ships.
Okay. You gotta notice across all systems that there's a cargo lighter departing from the bay in 60 seconds.
That's our other pilot.
Do you
Ready? I'll try to it. Oh fuck! All right, I just
want
grabbed
him
my
to
hands.
not be able to leave the ship? If you want him to go to the station, your brother's on.
I don't want him near my family. I don't think we can force him to stay. That rules out the only 2 options. I don't know what else to do.
You've got your 60 seconds to make a snap decision.
You can notify Carlito.
I don't know. How would I know? Like what? Cap. What if I don't know. If I just take however long it is and I just jump him immediately, Scarfy, and come right back. I don't know. I just want to get him out of here, get him where he belongs, and I'll just come right back. Turn around immediately. I don't know. Is that an option? How long would that take? Assuming I don't die.
From here to Catabolus with no...
Our protection in the quarantine is completely gone now.
Yeah, but I'm avoiding the quarantine.
You'd have to go straight there.
Yeah.
And you would do it with it would be 4.5 days of travel, and the roll is a 15.
Oh, if I can't get to the quarantine, I'm never getting my dad's will either. Man, this sucks. Everything is going south. I mean, honestly, sir,
if he's
I hate the words coming out of my mouth, but he's a loose end if I don't go bring him in back.
Oh, no,
I don't want him near my family. He's not going to come with us. I don't know what else to do with him.
You hear the sounds of an orbital lighter launching from the ship.
I was
going to say,
buy him transport to someplace else.
As soon as he says the words, I intervene. I take control of the lander.
Okay.
And I force it back into the bay and seal the doors.
I would like you to make a programming check.
Boy.
This will be a 17. 27. No.
This is about to get messy, Van-Vee. You're going to have to convince him that you're going to do what he wants.
Yeah, an 18 beats an 11. Yeah. Okay. You seize control of the ship, and he begins trying to route external communications out of the, so remote access to the ship is impossible, and you lock him out of the console long before he can even get started on that editing.
Where, do we buy him passages somewhere, Cap? I mean, I don't know what to do here. I done screwed up every way possible here. Either
You get a text from Minerva that says, I stopped him.
oh man, he's gonna be so damn mad.
So, yeah, you've got a detainee down there who is now hostile in a couple different ways.
Solitude guy.
Van-Vee. So, yeah, if you
he's
think you're
running
going to
back
do
to
him a
his fucking
solid
little
and get him
gun
where he wants to go, this one's on you. I can't solve this.
Careful. He's trying to get you to get back into the range of the turrets.
Well, how long did we say it would take? I feel like this is splitting the party and dying, but
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a speed 5 jump drive, right? Wait, no, it's speed
We have a speed 3.
3, and you can treat it as if it's speed 4. You need to go 3 hexes, which is 12 days. That'll take you
and I can cut
3
corners.
days. You can trim the course. You
I would not.
You absolutely
would
don't
not.
want to do that. That would be a terrible idea. So the base difficulty is 7. It's uncharted, which makes it a 13 with a +6. And then the distance per 2 full hexes is +1. So that's a 15 total.
15.
Yep.
Oh,
Look, Van-Vee, you can go down there and you can tell him that you'll do what he wants. But
well, man. You know what? I'm gonna go down there. I guess I gotta talk to him. There's something really nagging at me that Sophie said too, that I think he might know the answer to.
you want me to come with you?
Oh, I don't know if that's a good idea.
All right. Well, I'm a jump away.
Okay. Our final scene for the night is you opening the cargo lighter door to a fumingly mad face of your father towering over you. You want to tell me what's going on here?
Well, Hal, I just don't think this is the right spot for you to get off. You know what? We'll bring you where you want to go. I can't guarantee I can bring you to Scarfy. We have to
You're
finish
kidnapping me?
No, I'm just trying to bring you to where you want to go, that we're odds on our way.
Are you going to Scarfy?
We're not going to Scarfy.
I want to leave. Are you stopping me?
I want you to leave, not here, not at Lita.
Okay. He reaches out and begins choking you.
Come on.
As he does, you feel an invasion in your mind. And that's where we're going to end this episode.
Wah, wah.
You don't often get to end on such a, I don't want to say dramatic note, like a sad note, a really sad note like this. As things fall apart at the last second.
You know, I had typed into Twitch like 30 minutes ago, join us next week for when everyone continues to second guess Van-Vee's decision. But I don't think that's appropriate anymore.
The crew didn't second guess your decision, just your mom and your dad.
And Quentin and Minerva. That's it.
Well, Quentin,
That's Van-Vee.
Yeah.
have a conversation with Sophie Vostra. Bing, bang, boom. Van-Vee, convince Hal Womapoke that Dust Host is aware of what's going on.
Yeah, it's a hard no.
Yeah. You had a lot of conversations with him, and that was not
Well,
on the table.
You know, after he completely absorbs you and your memories and deletes you, he'll have your memories of your experience in Fairy, and he'd know.
There's a glass half full.
Minerva, boy, it cost you and your entire group so much, but you are in fact
Here,
still alive.
bring it down
And
to the ground.
Minerva, so you can take a point. Hey, gang. Nobody made a jump to the Shivada system, despite me desperately trying to get you to do so at the last minute. So
I was ready.
no XP there either. Van-Vee, you can take one for Find Your Mom, though.
Okay.
Hal almost helped you do that. So any post-game talk you guys want to have? This was this is kind of how I expected this episode to go, to be really dialogue. I didn't know that we were going to split into 3 individual parties and have a bunch of one-on-one conversations. But I basically expected you to make 0 forward progress.
I feel like our past, X episodes have been like this. We basically are
so
a
ready.
party.
You're
I just
so
want to put out there, not that it happened, but if Van-Vee had asked Minerva to kill him, she would have killed him.
He thought it, but he doesn't want Minerva
So
to.
were you able to find his bag?
incredible.
He went down
Protect your
there.
family.
He went down there figuring an altercation, and he's probably gonna have to shoot him again. And now he's gonna have this terrible memory of shooting his dad twice.
Yeah. It's so interesting to me, because when I say no forward progress, I mean towards your crew goal of like making your way towards the end of the story arc. You're so busy having fun and role playing and enjoying the logical consequences of your actions that you aren't advancing the story.
No,
You're advancing your stories, which is just fine.
Quentin's
And every
story
time
is
we
one
resolve it,
of
we make it
acceptance. Acceptance that he can control no one around him.
I've been worried for so long that people would notice the way how Hal described the dust working, that someone would guess, even just an audience member bring up that y'all was still alive somewhere. And I'm just glad that
I've
some
been waiting for
sharp-eyed
him to
viewer
haunt
didn't worry this one
the
for
golden
me.
goose. That's what I've been waiting for, is for like when we're on the golden goose, like the actual original one, just like we hear a voice.
That's not how it works.
It's more fun for me if it's a ghost.
Where is y'all? Is a question no one has asked me, and yet I've been tracking his position continuously.
Amazing.
Really?
It's oh no, I should have done where in the world is y'all?
Well, I appreciate you giving the hint by Sophie asking, because I don't think I ever would have thought of that.
I mean,
I know. I could tell that not just you, no one on the crew, and apparently no one in the audience had even suspected that y'all didn't die when you shot him.
I tried to within character really hint at, like, how to interface with you after your body dies, because you won't be dead. Because the rest of that was like inconsequential to Minerva.
Solitude let us run swamp.
My favorite part of this
think
episode was kidnapping a man and then threatening to kill him.
My favorite part was Van-Vee saying, "What should we do with him?" I don't want him.
Things would have been safer if Zach was on board. Could have just let him go, called it a day.
That's what I was saying.
But you
Emergency
had to be
crew
mean to your
replacement.
brother.
Yeah.
I had to listen to mommy.
So in danger.
Well, if it's a 15 without cutting the corners, 17 would.
No, it's my favorite possible outcome is that you just say, "No, we'll go," and 2 jumps later, we're gonna see how these 15s happen.
So just know that when you fail the roll, but you basically are ensured that you will, that doesn't mean you instantly explode. You then roll on another chart to see what happens.
Yeah.
It's just that chart is very bad.
It is not great.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you roll 3d6 right now, and if you would blow yourself up based on it, I'll make a really sad face. Just for fun. Just for fun. I won't even show the audience.
Do you want me to do like the actual pilot roll that I
No,
have?
just
or
roll,
just
no,
roll
no.
through?
Roll 3d6 for when the spike drive goes badly.
Oh,
And
for the chart.
I will make a face based on how your chip goes. Yeah.
So it's not totally dead, but it's not.
Yeah,
off-orbital.
that's what that roll would get you.
That that might not be dead, but maybe wish we were.
We'll be dead eventually. So,
There's a bunch of them that are just like, you're lost.
so to start
Try
next
again.
episode, I'm gonna have to shoot him, and then I'll release more dust and not know where that dust goes. We'll just keep this train going.
But you got some time to decide your plan of attack.
I'm being choked and my brain's being invaded. Pretty sure I'm shooting. I don't think I took point blank though, which would be helpful in this situation. Or did I?
All I want to add is that
Close combatant. I did.
what we know about Hal Wamapoke is that he is a survivalist influencer on the future version of YouTube. So you take whatever steps you feel necessary to engage such a person who's also hundreds of years old in close combat.
Yeah, didn't I saw y'all like
Yeah, remember what your dad
yeah, super
Well, I would
Yeah.
point out that your dad had been your dad and used the same body repeatedly for hundreds of years
yeah.
and was able to flex on it at the maximum possible precision. Hal Wamapoke, however, actually has tool skills.
This is good.
I'm trying to warn you that that's
And you
bad.
didn't-
Yeah, I've got some
and you
It's
didn't
gonna kill
Yeah, I
you.
know.
and
Yeah,
we didn't end up having the chance to even try to analyze the dust for a way to communicate with it, so I can't help you.
All right, boys. I'll be on.
Well,
I still couldn't get anybody to do drugs.
Hmm?
We have so many drugs, and I can't get you to do any of them. We got combat drugs. We got Genghis Khan. We got, your
Van-Vee
regular
pulls
array
out
of...
Genghis Khan from his back pocket and shoves it down Hal's throat.
My
That
other
would make the
character
situation
concept-
worse for you.
I don't think it can get too much worse.
the character concept that I put together, if I got vetoed on Minerva, would have absolutely indulged in a bunch of drugs.
My God, Minerva's admission to Fairy has spiraled the entire storyline out of control.
Yeah, what? You think?
Doors are shutting in your face in every direction.
I'm aware.
Hey, Van-Vee did something
It's-
similar in Midapile. All you have to do is kill your father and everything gets back to normal.
Yes.
I feel really bad because you told the truth. You made a emotional plea and an honest admission, and everyone is afraid of you.
Yeah,
I just
to the
want a
only, to
friend.
the only person that Minerva really considered like a friend and equal. Minerva's really
Ooh.
in its own spiral.
Brutal.
But she's afraid for the humans because she can't promise them that you're not a threat until they get a look at you.
Yeah.
You just said that
That's
Quentin
logical.
and Van-Vee are not your friends.
Yeah, I heard that too.
This is some real Fryvern shit where she's like, well, I've only known you for like 6 months, and I'm going to know Fairy for the rest of my life. It was
Lord.
just a short trip to watch you die. I'm going to watch the universe turn with my cool sister.
That's when Quentin looks at
It's-
Louis and
that's-
says, I don't love him any less.
That's where it's interesting trying to keep the perspective of this character, because Minerva is certainly fond of you two, but is also acutely aware that unless something bad happens, you're gonna pass way before. You'll be a story that Minerva tells to other people.
Yeah, the story of the shepherd. I've seen the fourth ending to Mass Effect 3. Yeah. tell me, have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
We are torpedoing so hard right now.
I feel like we've been on this torpedo trajectory for a long time, though.
But the thing
It's
is,
just-
you're
it's
so
just-
close to an ending, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're even making the easy way out ending so much harder. But
Yep.
I am so curious where you're going to go from here, because you're burning allies left and right, people who
I thought
know
we-
I
things.
give up.
I'm not sure I would call Hal an ally. I think it's easy to reveal at this point that Hal is no friend of anyone on the crew. Like,
Yeah.
Van-Vee was a taxi service for him.
Yeah. But it was mutually beneficial until this point.
Yeah.
Assuming he didn't lie. If he lied, then it's been completely useless. But
I mean, I haven't needed to roll because he hasn't lied to you, but he also just, there's plenty of things he isn't telling you.
his withholding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quentin is essentially a character who started off this show with PTSD and dealing with trauma, and has essentially hit a stage of just like, I can control nothing. I give up. I will do the best I can with what I have in front of me, and all other things are outside of my control. I don't know what to do.
But what's great about that is that I keep trying as a storyteller to ask the question, what is being human? And Quentin has fully devolved into a sort of Zen-like Hindu nirvana mysticism with himself, where he's like, nothing I do matters. The universe is a cruel, cold, uncaring place, and my actions have no meaning. And I'm like, great, we've broken Quentin. Now it's time to build him back up. He will be the Buddha.
Yeah. I can't wait.
So he's Batman.
Yes, he is at the bottom of his pit.
One day, Janamus, you need to read the Brandon Sanderson series that ends with Infinite Batman.
Ready. Adding it to the list.
Have I convinced you to watch Star Trek Odyssey yet? The Dimension 20 show you were asking me how to get into.
Oh, wait, yeah. That is, I forgot the name of it, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
I
way
did that.
earlier in this show, there was a vacation ship called the Prince Vandorn that was trying to get you guys to go on board. I've privately mentioned this, but the Prince Vandorn isn't a vacation ship. It's actually a Hunger Games style torture chamber where everyone that goes on board is knocked out and then is forced to fight each other and a horrifying alien creature. The Vandorn is a reference to Star Trek Odyssey.
That's the one shot we should play.
We just roll up some characters and we end up going on vacation.
Perfect for a charity event.
Is that the epilogue? Oh, that's what we want to do for the charity? Is the Stars Without Numbers version of Hunger Games, where three random people with no memory wake up in a room together? All right.
For sure.
Okay, I could probably write that up. All right. Do you want me to make character stats for you guys, or do you want to roll up a new character?
Oh, if we're going to be playing Amnesiacs, we shouldn't know what our characters are, because our characters won't know.
Oh, so you tell me what you want to do, and then I'll privately roll to see what happens.
That's so good.
Yeah.
What?
Oh my
I don't
God.
know what I'm good at.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And then you get those false
love
signals,
that.
like an unlucky roll in something we're good at,
Yeah,
and we roll
yeah.
stupidly lucky at something we shouldn't be succeeding at. And we
Yeah.
just build this entirely false idea.
I pick up a javelin and throw it at another character.
All
Oh,
right.
it's really good. All right.
Well, Kane, you've just convinced me not to run Star Trek. So, all right, this is how we're going to do it then.
I convinced you not to run Star Trek.
Yeah, it was good. The charity game was going to be a Star Trek
Oh,
game, but
yeah.
now it's going to be a Stars Without Numbers game.
Okay.
We're doing it for the kids. We're doing it for Kids Make-A-Wish International. All right? We're doing it for the kids. All right, we'll figure out a time in April. You know, it'll obviously be a Monday night, but are we good for next week?
Should be.
I think I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next week it's going to be a thing. it's,
Listen, guys,
I
I
didn't even
really need
try
you to have goals and ideas for what to do after this fight goes down. You know what I mean? Like, you got to have a clear forward path with what you currently can hold right now, because the sand is spilling, the water is no longer cupped. You gotta have a forward path. Even if it's as simple as we jump to the black hole system so that we can get the best possible roll jumping to Shivada. That's a plan.
That's the short list plan for sure.
Is it though? Is it?
Short list.
We'll see if that's what actually happens next episode.
It's a short list.
I want to say one thing that didn't happen this episode was I didn't find time, and I mean, we're already way past stopping point, but I wanted to have a scene where someone pitched Quentin on opening a casino for the senior and elderly on his ship.
Oh, man.
People who have no regard for their personal safety and want to go out in a bang at the end of their lives, meeting interesting people and traveling across the galaxy, and to just turn 90% of the ship into a senior citizen center where the VIs take care of old people who are all gambling and playing poker together.
Quentin would just be sitting there thinking about how Van-Vee is
kind of
currently
awesome,
banned from
actually.
a moon that is themed
That
around.
sounds kind of awesome, actually.
It's like Mos Eisley for Silver Foxes.
Yeah, there you go. That's not bad.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we didn't get around to it this episode, so I'll have to ambush you the next time you're in an airlock on a space station
I'm ready.
with my my airlock pitch.
I feel like a good crew goal for next session is going to be to still be this party at the end of the session. Is Minerva going to leave for your benefit? Is Van-Vee going to be deleted? Like, there's so much.
I believe in
man.
Van-Vee.
We are so.
You shouldn't,
right now.
because my next action actually relies on you two, not me.
Yeah.
I don't know how to help you.
Yeah, if Quentin has any idea that it's happening, he can be there pretty quickly, but we'll find out next time.
Well, the only message Van-Vee can currently send to you is gurgle, gurgle.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Maybe one of the soda can robots is going to save the day.
Oh my God, can you imagine? 43 followed me.
He follows you everywhere. We know this. This is canonical.
Yeah, you did.
You look like you could need assistance. Please say yes. Gurgle.
Yeah, he's just sitting there with a little, like his tiny little med kit. You need to consent for medical care.
He's
Don't hear
like,
consent.
he's like the genie for Aladdin underwater. Please make a wish.
Oh, the genie from Aladdin. One of Robin Williams' best roles.
A little bit. So I ran a game where somebody ended up trying to merge two intelligences in a computer and then decided they were going to teach it to think like they did. And they docked in a much larger ship that started downloading some of the programming that was already corrupted. And the only part they got was an insane fragment of its mind that was obsessed with the idea of consent. And it let all the monsters out on the ship because they didn't consent to being captured.
Wow.
And then when people would fight back, it was like, they did not consent to be violated by violence. And it would just like start killing the crew.
That does sound like a Kain story for sure. This is a Kain science fiction story. Yeah.
There was a science fiction RPG, a new one that I just saw come out, or on Kickstarter that looked interesting. Semi-tangential. Coriolis, I think was the name of it.
Yes.
Never
I think I have it.
It's Freestar Press, or Free League Press.
Then I definitely have it. This Free League Publishing gave me their core catalog.
All their
There you go.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is on the website.
Still trying to figure out how do I find and access Starstruck Odyssey, because it's not on my podcast app. It's locked on.
You need
Dropout
to
TV.
be a subscriber on dropout.tv.
Not it. So that is the way to find it.
And then the way you find 90% of the tabletop RPG stuff is by opening, when you're on Dropout TV, you open Dimension 20 and you choose the season. So Starstruck Odyssey is like season 16 or something. It'll give you the name of the season.
Yeah, I found all the episodes. I just all have a lock on them. Probably because I'm not signed in or anything. But
Yeah.
Makes sense. We'll just favorite that right there for later.
I actually just rewatched the finale of Star Trek Odyssey, and it was incredible.
Hmm.
It was so good. Brendan's mom came on at the end.
That's fun. They're on my list of stuff to start on.
I mean, Dimension 20 has been on fire recently. They have some good stuff, some bad stuff, and then a lot of really great stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the drop out TV stuff in general is pretty enjoyable. Like just the regular comedy stuff's good.
I really started watching it for the tabletop RPG, but Game Changers is really
This is great.
incredible. Game Changers, Sam Reich is a madman.
Hilarious. Yeah.
We are not animals.
It's Zach Oyama, and there's just like some really fantastic folks on there who just kill it.
Zach is absolutely destroying it in this season of Fantasy High junior year. Just absolutely killing it. When he walked up to a police officer, was like, "You have a warrant? Oink oink." Get off my fucking property. I was like, damn. This kid has grown since freshman year.
That's hilarious.
All right, guys. God, I have no idea what's going to happen in the next episode, which is why I ended it exactly where we were at. I need some time to think about what's going to happen here.
I feel like our past few sessions must have been, at one hand, super difficult for you to plan, but on the other hand, you're like, yeah, they're not going to go anywhere anyways.
Hal has no escape strategy here. Minerva has demonstrated an ability to reprogram every object he's currently standing on and receiving oxygen from. So he is in a whole lot of trouble.
No doubt.
So taking over Van-Vee is his next logical step.
I think that holding you hostage is the only step. Minerva wouldn't kill you, right?
At this point, I mean, we
Wouldn't
can probably be
allow
like, things
you
are a
to
lot
die.
simpler.
Well, Minerva's consideration of your lifespan, it's so small anyway.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys, there's
I heard what I heard. We're not your friends.
Mm-hmm.
We're
What
just
is a
ants
man?
to you.
A miserable pile of lies and secrets.
You're an elf.
There
We're
was-
dwarves.
there was that moment where we were talking about your dust and the link and whatever, and Minerva got incredibly clinical talking to you about your existence. Like talking about what do we do at the failure of your biological components and things
Yes.
like that.
Yeah. But we can keep your mind.
Yeah.
We can rebuild you.
Better, stronger,
That's
faster. In my virtual environment where you have no choices.
Wow. Okay, well, that's horrifying.
You are my puppet.
Okay,
that's
well,
why
now
people
you've entered
think you might
into
wind up the villain.
I'm
There's
a
the villain.
Scream territory, so
Yeah.
that's it.
Mm.
We will be back next week, audience, hopefully. And I not only do I not know how next episode will end, I basically don't know how it's going to begin
The
either.
start.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough one.
Waiting for us to go offline.
Okay, well, then we'll go off.